Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Saturn conjunct one's natal Mercury. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Saturn, it can be about restrictions, limitations, structure, discipline, responsibilities, laborious work. And when you have transit Saturn conjunct your natal Mercury, well, this can manifest in restrictions and structure, responsibility, laborious work, and efforts. It could be matters in communications. Sometimes it may simply manifest in being harder to communicate to somebody. It might be something where maybe it's taken you two or three times to convey your message or get your thoughts across, basically. Uh, it can be, if it's in, say Aquarius, it could be communications that are astrological or connected with astronomy or computers, electronics about your future, your goals, your aspirations. It could also be a time too where there might be more work involved in terms of learning and assimilating information. Say if you're, in college, for example, you're taking higher education courses, maybe there's more homework that has to be done, or there's just a lot more things that have to be done that are connected with that. It can be a time when you're having to write a little bit more and take more notes for things. Uh, Also, keep in mind that Mercury is about short journeys and local transportation as well. So sometimes this could manifest in some difficulties, and as far as that goes, it might be some roadblocks or obstructions or delays. There might be more delays than you're accustomed to encountering at this time if you're on the road, or you are somebody that, most people, they're either driving or they're finding some way to get to from point A to point B. So naturally, most people are going to be involved in short journeys, and if you have this transit, there may be more delays and restrictions and limitations than usual. You might be forced to take a lot more detours than usual at this time. Uh, Also, too, Mercury is associated with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So this could be a time where these people might require more responsibility for you. You might find yourself where there might be more limitations with these people. Maybe you're dealing with a debilitated or sickly sibling, cousin, or neighbor. Perhaps you have to take care of them and give them more, just more service at this time, more so than usual. They may be more difficult for you. Maybe the situation with one or more of these people is starting to become depressing, or one of them might be somewhat depressive or despondent at this time. Uh, this is a time too where you might, when you look at Mercury in astrology, anatomically speaking, it's associated with the hands, arms, lungs, breathing, eyesight, and the brain. So it can be a time where, there may be some difficulties with one or more of these things at this time, and you might, find where, things might require more vigorous effort uh, in terms of, using your hands or your arms at this time, whether, it might be some kind of nerve damage or just some kind of strain or sprain at this time that you might be dealing with. It could also be a time too, when we look at this, is that this could also mean Mercury is also about analysis. So it can be a time where, Saturn, this is not all, negative, of course. We have conjunctions in astrology. They can have some adverse energy connected with it and some positive as well. And even though Saturn is this, this harbinger of worry and apprehension, it could also be very positive. Remember that Saturn is also about structure, discipline, and concentration. So the fact, when you have this transit, you might find yourself being able to concentrate more on things that need analysis, or it could be like your computer, as an example, or some machine that you may have, or that you work with at your job site, and whether it might be a forklift or a pallet jack, or it's some um, it's that that dough machine or whatever it is that rolls the rolls the dough. It's just things where you're actually able to concentrate more on things that require certain analysis and less likely to have extraneous things interfere with that. Now also too, remember that Mercury can be connected with thieves. So if you're in a bad neighborhood, especially where it's notorious for robberies, it's really a time to take some more precautions, more so than usual at this time, because Saturn can bring about loss and restrictions and limitations. It could be something where you may be more susceptible to being robbed or have your, whether it's, right in front of you. I mean, like say if this is an Aries, I mean, it could be a greater propensity for, being robbed at gunpoint, or some kind of volatile robbery. I mean, it could be something, another, I mean, possibly say if you have this in the zodiac sign Cancer or the fourth house, it could be a home robbery. So it's just something to just be extra careful about at this point in time, more so than usual. And the thing about this too is that Mercury is also connected with the rational mind and rational thinking. So, positively, I mean, the fact that this is Saturn is about discipline, and it may actually help to some degree when you have this transit to be more disciplined in your thinking at this time, and not act out in an irrational manner. But at the same time, sometimes this could actually go the other way. So remember that it's a conjunction. They can have good and bad qualities with them as far as that aspect goes, and sometimes it might limit the rational mind to some degree. And anyway, now, Saturn is connected with the father and older people, grandparents, so it might be a time where this could manifest in a father, an older person, a grandparent might be more prominent in your conversations at this time, or your short trips. Say if this falls in Scorpio as an example, it could be very deep, provocative, even probing conversations and communications, and it might be short journeys you take that are more mysterious and are secretive, that you may not divulge really where you're going with this person too much to people at this time. And also too, um, another thing too is that, keep in mind, Saturn can be connected with chronic debilitations and difficulties. So sometimes this could be some chronic debilitation or some issue you might have to deal with, something Mercury related, anatomically speaking, such as the arms, the hands, breathing, the lungs, eyesight, even issues with the brain. I mean, if this is an Aquarius, for example, it could be more sporadic issues, with the arms or the hands as an example. It might be some intermittent pain or some kind of spasm. Uh, if it's in Gemini, I mean, since Mercury it can be connected with eyesight, could it be double vision, or maybe I'd say, that's a possibility. Pisces, it could be very unclear or blurry vision. Now, another thing too is that when you have this transit, it could also manifest in more pessimistic, negative, but even disciplined thinking and more premeditative thinking at this time, more so than usual. And it'll surprise some people in your sphere, if you're a person especially that is more impetuous or impulsive in your thinking. You're not the kind of person that takes a lot of precautions. It could be more surprising to people at this time. And say, for example, if this falls in Libra, it could be more disciplined thinking connected with legal matters and lawsuits. Um, it could be, if it's an Aquarius, maybe it's being more pessimistic or negative thinking regarding your future, your goals, your aspirations, matters with friends. And again, this is very good for concentration on things that require analysis. Saturn, of course, is associated with concentration. Analysis is connected with Mercury. Say if this is in Sagittarius as an example, it could be sports analysis. If it's an Aquarius, it could be something with computers or electronics. Um, Something with analyzing an astrology chart, something astronomical. And also too, this could be about more responsibility, at this time to siblings, cousins, and neighbors. They stayed before it even, but as an example, let's say if this falls in Pisces in your fourth house in your natal chart. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, let's say if it falls in the fourth house in your natal chart in Pisces, well, this could be about bringing a lot of self-sacrificing energy, which is Pisces, and really in matters of protection. Fourth house could be very about protection and protection for them. And also, this might be a time too where restrictions may prohibit you really from saying what you really want to say, or it might be a time where, for example, you might be on Facebook and you've been saying, some things that, Facebook is seeing or deeming as inappropriate or unwarranted, and it violates their guidelines and standards. Well, this could be a time where maybe they crack down on you if you've been putting anything on your post, such as something salacious or overly profane or whatever it is that's not consistent with their guidelines. Because remember, Saturn can be about working within the parameters of things and the rules and regulations. So, and Mercury, of course, is connected with communication. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.